Yeah,
Welcome, Markus, to Metallarium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you. Well, in this situation for the second time because we spoke we spoke with the previous album 3 years, 4 years ago about the Church Without Saints, and now we are talking about for Kill of Idols. We're starting this new interview. So how is was the last couple of years, the 3 years, and how is the band? How are you today?
yeah, we are very well. Thank you very much for asking. We are feeling very proud about the new album because it's album number 10. And of course, we put a lot of extra effort in the songwriting this time because we wanted to present all the elements of Disaster into this album. And I think we produced a very diverse album, an album full of variety. We have a lot of different elements on it, and in the whole, you can of course hear that it's Disaster at the end.
Mhm. Okay. And when do you decide to start writing songs for this new album? It was during the session for the previous album, all the songs are new, or perhaps you rescue any composition that left out for the previous albums?
No, they are all new. Uh, we uh, we are songwriting all the time. So
Mhm.
even now, the album isn't out yet, but even now we are already working on a new track. So you see, we are very creative, and
Mhm.
I think this is this is the reason why we are in the band. This is the most satisfying point to be in the band, to come together, to make new music, to be creative, to put all your feelings, your emotions, your energy into music, into a new song. That's the best point of playing in a band. I like it very much.
Okay. So, and well, the previous album, Church Without Saints, it was released during the second time or the second year of the pandemic. Now, this Kill of Idols is outside of the pandemic. So, how many things changed for your album that it was released during the pandemic, and now we are outside from this pandemic?
We don't see any difference because also in the pandemic times we met each other. It was not allowed, but we did it, and we met each other in the rehearsal room to yeah have fun, to drink beer together, and of course to make music. And it is the usual, uh, our usual way of songwriting. We don't send files to each other. We are the internet, but we meet. We meet in person, and there we really have some good times. And that's it's no difference to the last album.
Hmm. Okay. I understand completely about this one. Now, well, Kill of Idols is your 10 records on your career. So how do you feel about these 10 records? Because not all bands around the world has released 10 records, and you started your career in 1988. So it's like a long time ago about this, more for the years. No, yes, for this one. So how do you see this accomplished? 10 records, more than 40 years of existence, and now I think you are one of the first bands that played this mixture, these kind of things, black with thrash metal, especially in Europe.
Yeah, I agree with you. And of course, we are very proud that we are still around. And I think we produce still good albums which are relevant, which are bringing something new also to the people. We try not to repeat ourselves that much. And of course, we have our trademarks within those 36 years of existence, 37 years of existence. I don't know
Mhm.
the time exactly. But of course, we have our trademarks, and we try to, of course, write songs
Mhm.
in between our genre. We Yes, I agree with you. We are one of the creators of this black thrash
Mhm.
metal style, together with bands like Destroyer 666 or Absu from the United States. I think we created this special genre, and there are a lot of bands following us. And a lot of bands say, yeah, we were influenced by Disaster. And of course, that makes us proud. And we feel very honored if some newer bands play a Disaster cover version and stuff like that. That's really great feeling. And yeah, nobody in the beginning ever thought about releasing an album. You know, when we started as kids, we were 15, 16 years old, and we were dreaming, of course, about releasing albums, about playing live, but that were just dreams. But the dreams became true. That's great.
Okay, okay, amazing, amazing. Yes, that is right on this one. Now, so well, 10 albums is not easy for everyone because 10 have a much work, line apps, changes time. The music industry changed, as you can see now. The digital is the most common thing for the new people, for everyone in general. So now for you, if you want to select one, two, or three albums from your 10 records with the milestones in your career, which albums would be? Perhaps the first album that touched the metal darkness, or which albums for you are the milestones for Disasters?
I think the most important album you can see in the back of me is the third album from the year 2000. It's Tyrants of the Netherworld. I think on this album we produced the perfect sound for Disaster. The whole album was perfect. The cover was great. The sound was great. The songs were great. Everything was really perfect. And I think 20, 25 years ago, of course, we were much younger. We were rehearsing more often. We really rehearsed very hard for this album. I think we rehearsed 3 or 4 times a week to prepare everything for the recordings of the album. And of course, nowadays we don't have that much time anymore. And there are other things in life. You know that we are not a professional band. We all have our regular jobs. But back then, in those times, we put all our time and effort and power into the music. Of course, we do it right now as well, but it's not possible like in the past. And I think this was really our milestone. For me, it's the best album, the Tyrants album. Other people say the second album is the best, the Hellfire's Dominion album, because there are our well-known songs, Metal Lies Blood and Teutonic Steel on that album, but also on Tyrants of the Netherworld. I think there are a lot of classic Disaster songs.
Okay, amazing, amazing. So, and when this topic about these, so about this, especially for the sound of Disaster, because yes, you have a special sound since your first album, then you all continuous development your sound. So in this situation, so how do you? Because I just hear completely this Kill of Idols, and you maintain your sound. Either way, you try to evolve with your sound. That's completely normal. But how do you maintain the same feeling that you received from the all your previous records and continue pushing your boundaries? Because for some bands it's very difficult to maintain the old sound and at the same time pushing the same sound that they have since the beginning.
Yeah, for us it's very important to, of course, have our trademark sound, but no album should sound like the other ones. So this time it was very important for us to have a little bit a new sound on the album, and that was the reason why we gave the mixing to Greg Wilkinson of Autopsy in the United States, and I think he did a very good job. He could manage, he really managed to catch our trademarks, which of course are the most important trademark of Disaster when it comes to the sound, I think, is my guitar sound. And I think Greg really make it possible to produce a really fucking great guitar sound on the new album. And on the other hand, he managed to produce something new. I think no other album of Disaster sounds like Kill All Idols, and that was our goal, and we reached this goal, and we are very happy with that.
Okay, Okay, I know. Well, that's the point. So now talking about more the promotion of this Kill of Idols. So what kind of plans do you have for this album? Perhaps you will embark some tours, present more videos, or who knows? What kind of plans do you have? Or perhaps you're already working on a new album. Who knows?
Uh, well, of course, the record company wants me to make promotion for the album, so I do it. But yeah, you know, we are not a touring band. We are not a professional band. We just make it for. It's more, of course, than fun. Heavy metal, the music is our religion and it's our lifestyle, of course. But at the end, we don't pay our bills with our music. So we only do what we want. We don't do any tours anymore. That's not possible because of our jobs. But of course, we do some selected festivals and shows, and we are looking very forward to it. Next shows will take place in East Europe, in Bulgaria for the first time, and in Serbia again. And every show in Serbia so far was fucking great. We are looking forward to return to Serbia. And we will also hopefully come to the United States. There are shows planned in Chicago and New York,
Mhm.
and we also return to Italy this year. And but that's all. We don't do a 3 month tour or something like that, and
Mhm.
tour around the globe. But that's it. So yeah, that's all we do for promotion. You know, we don't have to earn much money, so that's it.
Okay, 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 okay. So, well, another kind of topics. You said it about it. Now you are one of you are one of the bigger. Well, you are one of the first band that makes this information with all this style with black trash. So now you see there is a lot of bands releasing records each month or so, each weekend. So that's not just one, just not one, just not just. It's not like the 80s or 90s. You can see it's 30 records in 6 or 7 months. Now we have 60 records per weekend, so that's very different from this. So now, how do you see this over releases in the metal world? For someone, is good one, and for the other one, is a bad one. So for you, what kind of opinion do you have for this?
Well, I'm still interested in what is going on in the scene. And I always try out and I check out new bands, of course. And sometimes I find really good ones. But I must say that most of the stuff which is released is it's not crap, but it's nothing new. Most of the bands are repeating other bands. You know, there are so many bands, for example, with the sound of Swedish death metal bands. And I always think, why don't you try to produce your own sound? But they imitate the old Swedish death metal sound. And for me, it's boring. I listen to the Entombed albums and Dismember albums and Grave albums,
Mhm,
and my favorite band is Unleashed. And I listen to those bands, and I don't want to listen to a copy band, of course. You know what I mean. So
mhm,
for me, of course, I agree with you. That's too much on the market. On the other hand, of course, it's cool for musicians, for young people,
mhm,
that it's easy to record. You can easily record an album at home in your bedroom nowadays. It's not much effort to do it. And of course, also to release it is not that expensive anymore. Of
mhm,
course, it's a chance for young bands, uh, but of course, they have it very hard. Also, it's very hard for them nowadays to gain some success because there are too many bands and too much bands. So I'm glad that we started a long time ago in another time. It was really something complete different without any internet. You know, we were writing letters to each other. I know I was in contact with Keith from Destroyer back in the times, you know, with Alan from Primordial. We were writing letters. There were no emails and stuff like that. That was a completely other world.
Okay, yeah, well, that is true. That is true. Now, well, one other kind of topics. So you are working since the beginning with a label, since Merciless Records, then since Angel Horde, in Angel Horde you were working with Metal Blades Records. Now will be accomplished 10 years, no more. Yes, 10 years or yes, 20
20.
years. 20
20.
years that you work with Metal Blade Records now. So for you, how important is has a label behind you? Because now there's 1,000 releases per month or just per year, but they're mostly all of them are releasing independently because they want to receive more incomes for the releases, for the physical stuff, for the t-shirts. We don't know. That's a lot of this. So for you, how important is to have now in this too saturated work to have a label in the world?
We are very glad that we have a big label in our back, which can support us, which can do much more promotion than a small label, or even some bands don't have any label. They try to do it on their own, and that's very hard nowadays. You know that perhaps you know I have another band. It's called Moon Towers,
Mm-hmm.
and with this band we started 7 years ago, and we just tried to gather some success, some success, yes, and we failed because it's that the market is overproduced, and if you don't have a big record company which makes videos for you, which makes promotion, it's very hard to become well known in the scene, you know. So we are very glad to have Metal Blade, of course. We never paid that much attention on which label it is. For us, it was important that the label pays the bill of the studio, you know, and of course does some promotion. And we were very satisfied with Merciless Records in the beginning. After that, we changed to Iron Pegasus Records. They all both did a great job, but they were underground labels. They didn't have the distribution, of course, like Metal Blade has. So we were glad that 20 years ago we got the offer from Metal Blade, and yeah, we have to raise a beer with Metal Blade and drink with them to celebrate this anniversary. And we are still very satisfied with their work. We are totally independent in what we are doing, but they do a fantastic professional work. And that was what we wanted when we signed the record contract.
Okay. Now, so now you mentioned me that Desaster is not playing anymore like full tours because I remember when you arrived here, you played like 5, 7 dates or 8 dates in a row to Latin America a long time ago. So now, so what did you decide now? Just select the option. I know that I know that, or you told me that you selected the option for just specific days because you have a full-time jobs and there's no more a lot of incomes from Disaster. But if you receive from, for example, just a good budget to receive a tour, will you do a full tour, for example, in US, in Latin America, to proceed with this one, or just all the time, just Disaster will just select the shows?
Yes, we don't have plans to do tours anymore. I think even if somebody offers us $1 million for a tour, we would say no, thank you, because it's very hard, it's very exhausting, and we did it in the past. We made our experiences. It was fucking great time, but nowadays we are too old. You know, when we are on tour, we give 100% every night, not only on stage but also at the bar afterwards, you know, and that's fucking hard. So we want to return to Latin America, but only for selected shows. So we're doing we make some plans at the moment to visit some countries we have never been before. We want to play in Ecuador, we want to play in Chile, and in Mexico, of course, because we have never played in Mexico, which is a really shame because I know we have many fans in Mexico. So we will return, but only for selected shows.
Okay. Okay, okay. Now, well, talking about more about the sound, especially, or talking about more about the cover art from this Kill of Idols, because when I take a look for this Kill of Idols, it's like we are returning to the old, to like the old sensations for the last black and white, no cover very details, because now you can see a lot of metal bands now are releasing great cover arts with the AI, with the artists, with a lot of things. So now for you, why you did decide to return back with this like let's say like the old cover art with a black and white and just three or four motifs. Oh, and the demon there's usually that's black thrash metal.
Yeah, we it was the idea of our singer. He had a concept in his mind for the new album. He had a title in his head, and he
Mhm,
had the cover painting already in his head. And in fact, it's again made by Mr. Chris Moyen, who
mhm,
already did the Angel Whore cover back in 2005 on the album. We asked him again if he want to make our cover artwork, and he agreed. And it was the idea of our singer uh, that he make his own interpretation of a classical painting. This painting was made in the, I think, in the 16th century or something like that, very long time ago, by a guy in Italy called Caravaggio, and it's a classical painting. And our a wish was that Mr. Moyen does this painting in his own style, in his own demonical style. In the past, he also made cover artworks for black metal bands like Beherit
mhm,
and bands like that. I think Blasphemy, stuff like that. And yes, it was a little bit of returning to the old days, with the black and white cover. Some people already asked us if we do war metal now with the new album, with Desaster, but no, of course not. We do the old black thrash stuff. But yes, you are right. We returned to the old style. Of course, we are old guys
mhm.
and old school guys. And I think the cover should also represent that.
Hmm. Okay, 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 okay. Now, so as you can see, there's the tendencies now is to hear the music about with digital platforms, not anymore. The people is like buying less and less records, and I saw that in Europe has 1,000 festivals now. That's a curious thing because there is less physical stuff to sell, but then now there's more festivals in Europe. I think during the summertime you have more than 100 festivals during these 5 or 4 months, 4 months in Europe. So now, how do you see this concept that this overpopulated festival is good for the scene, it's bad for the scene because not much have enough time to go to each festival each summertime.
Yeah, yeah. I think they already reached the top of the hill,
Mhm.
because some festivals are dying right now because they don't have enough audience there. So they have to close. And I think this is a natural development. Of course, everybody wanted uh, to have a festival like Wacken in their village, but there's only one Wacken and one big festival, and there are few big festivals,
Mhm.
but they try to do festivals in every little village, and that was too much. It was really too much, and it was clear that at one point this will break down, and those some festivals have to die. But it's a normal development, I think. The scene will survive, but some
Mhm.
festivals will die. I think that's a pity for, of course, some cool festivals,
Mhm.
uh, but there are enough other festivals so people will survive.
Okay, okay. And well, we are very close to the end of the interview, Marcus, and one of the situation. So now, well, all the time, well, all the time, for me, one of the best records for me is, I don't know what, I love this record, Divine Blasphemies from Desaster. Great album for this one, especially for the cover art since the beginning, captured my attention. Now, so, what is your opinion about
Thank you.
this for the AI, especially into the music industry now? Because it's not just related with the cover arts. Now you can see us releasing in YouTube thousands of songs on albums with AI, especially in the metal. So how is your what kind of opinion do you have for this?
Yeah, that's a big discussion. Also in my bands, we discuss a lot about AI,
Mhm.
and for me, there's no a black or white opinion or a plus or a minus opinion. I think, of course, you can't say no to AI nowadays because it will become much more part of our lives. I also use AI for correcting some English interviews or something like that, and it's very helpful. And I think that's a good thing if you use it uh, in a way, in a responsible way, And I think to produce music with AI, of course, is not good. Because I think it's computer music. It's nothing natural. It's nothing spontaneous. It's just the computer which is copying some other stuff you put in the computer before. And I think, of course, this will kill music. And that's a point where I say no to AI. That's nothing good. But when it comes to cover artworks, I must say I'm not totally against AI because sometimes it's cool. I know some guys put a lot of effort in creating albums with AI. They can't paint for themselves, but they
Mhm.
put a lot of effort to make something very creative with the help of AI. And
Mhm.
of course, at the end, it's the computer which produces it the artwork, but there's mankind behind it. You know what I mean?
Mm. Okay, okay, that is true. That is true. Well, Marcus, we arrived to the sad moment of this interview. I hope you enjoyed this one like me. This last record is a great one. Congratulations on this all the time maintain the sounds in the 80s in your music. So,
Thank you.
and perhaps we want to add something to your Latin American fans that expect someday, again, a full tour, who knows, or just special days here, to return back for Disaster and Metallion followers,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah. Hopefully, we can come to especially Mexico and to some other countries we have never been before. I know that there are a lot of fans waiting for us, and I got a lot of emails and in social media, a lot of fans want us to play in those countries. And yeah, I think next year we will return. This year we were in Brazil again for 3 days. No, it was 4 dates. Yeah, one date was with Sodom, which was really great. Amazing concert in Sao Paulo. And of course, we want to repeat this in other countries. You have the best fans. You are the best. You are really maniacs. You are still hot. That's so cool. And we loved it. We loved it. As you said it in Germany and Europe, the guys around, they can go to a concert every day, and they're a little bit fed up with it. They are not hot anymore for concerts, and of course, for a band, it's better. It's great to play in front of a wild audience, and we always get this in Latin America. And so, hopefully, we meet each other next year, have a beer, bang our heads in first row, and have fun with heavy metal stuff.